Two things.
ল্যাপটপ তো নাই না
ল্যাপটপ বাইরে মর্নিং Okay, now you can start.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Dear participant, can you hear me?
Hello, participants. Can you hear me? Ballroom, can you hear me? Are you there?
Mr. Wanglu?
So, Ballroom, are you there? YG? Sound? Can anyone respond? YG?
I'm here, Professor. I'm Baijie.
Okay, good morning. Are you ready with your presentation? You can share your slide.
Open again the link. So the PPT sent to the text on there. Already I submitted.
YG? Are you ready with your presentation?
Z. You can call it PPT. Why no one is responding?
Share the microphone.
Okay.
Okay, that is.
Okay, Baiji, you're there?
Yes, I'm.
Oh, okay, can you do your presentation now?
Okay.
Okay, you can share your slide.
Okay.
So, yes, good morning, students. On behalf of Lincoln University, especially Faculty of Social Science, Humanities and Arts, I heartily welcome to you. And there will be a session from 8:30 to 10:30, and there will be a tea break from 10:30 to 10:45. And after that, we will continue our session up to 12:30. All the participants will be given 15 minutes. They can share their presentation, and moreover, the audience or any virtual participants, they can give suggestions, share their ideas, because this is our first international conference on global education. So it is our platform that we can share, we can learn something through our experiences, and moreover, once again, I heartily welcome to you. Now, turn by turn, all the presenters will present their slides, and we will give and we will share the other suggestions also. So one first student, it is Jenny Rosha.
She's not there.
She's available? Not? So, are you ready, Beji? Are you ready to
Okay.
present? So you start your presentation, and we will observe, and moreover, we can give suggestions. Okay, fine. You can start now.
Okay. Professor, I can't share my screen.
Okay, just hold on, huh? Shama, can you allow the person to share?
Her number is 1215. Yes, 1215 number.
Just go to security and make them to share. No.
Busy. The same. Busy.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
Yeah, Ms. Beji, you can do your presentation. You can start.
Yes, it's visible. You can see. Is it?
No response.
They should be present here.
You can hear.
Shami, other woman, other boy. Voice is not clear. Not hello. We are unable to listen. Hello. Hello. Your voice is not clear.
Sorry.
Yes, student, busy. Your voice is not clear. One, we are unable to listen.
What is the meeting ID password for this one? Zoom.
Sorry, Professor, you pardon?
Yeah, now we can hear you.
No, it's okay.
Sorry. Hi, continue.
Yes, you continue. Easy. You continue your PPT.
Okay, okay. Professor, I'm finished.
Yes. Just busy. We unable to listen your this PPT. Voice was not clear one. So she will repeat. So it's okay. Even though you presented well, and your topic was well, you defined well each and everything. So there is one question regarding your this topic, teacher-student relationship from perspective in phenomenological pedagogy, or conceptual view. One question is there. Can you tell me what is the delimitation of this study? Have you delimited this study? Up to what extent you are doing this research? Means geographical area is China or somewhere you are conducting this research? What are the limitations? What are the have you delimited your present this study? There is one question.
Professor, my topic is displayed and created on the meeting cycle nationally list. My topic is
So your topic is
education.
Educational thought.
Yes, my topic is displayed. I emailed the meeting, but no reply.
Educational thought. Hey.
My topic is education thoughts on interview design measures in local operating college universities.
Actually, that list I have received your this title of this teacher-student relationship from perspective of phenomenological pedagogy, conceptual review. So I think there is some confusion, or there may be some printing, some error. So I note down your this title, and after that we will consider it whether it is another one students this topic. So please, I'm noting down your this title of the paper, research paper.
Okay, okay, thank you.
So your title is Educational Thoughts on Interior Design Majors in Local Ordinary Colleges and Universities. So how many colleges and university you have taken your this research in different colleges and university? I think there is a much area you covered. Which area you are doing this research? How many colleges and universities you taken that?
One persons Henan, okay, Henan province in China.
So have you selected that colleges and universities where you are going to study that?
Yes, yes.
How many colleges are there? How many universities are there? Have you briefed that one? How many colleges you are considering for research, and how many universities you are doing? So we rectifying your this title, Educational Thoughts on Interior Design Majors in Local Ordinary Colleges and Universities. So we noted down, okay?
Okay,
So,
okay, thank you.
thank you very much for your presentation. Now I will call another presenter, Jenny Nirosha Bejo. Are you present? Are you present?
Ms. Beji, you can stop sharing. You can stop sharing your slide.
Okay, okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Okay.
So, Fenzi, are you ready with your presentation?
Hello, doctor.
Morning. Okay.
Morning.
Okay, you can share your slide and you can do your presentation now.
这是呢，弄上。好 ，OK。这个不到。Can you see?
Yeah, I can see.
Dear professional and scholars, hello everyone. My name is Su Fenci and I come from the education department at Lincoln University in Malaysia. The topic I brought today in investigating the effectiveness of online learning in higher education, a compare study of student outcomes and engagement. Investigating the effectiveness of online learning in higher education, a compare student of engagement. One, introduction. as online learning becomes increase. As online learning comes increasingly prevalent in higher education, there is a growing need to investigate the effectiveness in terms of student outcomes and engagement. This study aims to compare the effectiveness of online learning with the traditional face-to-face learning in higher education settings. The study employed a comparative research design, where students' outcomes and engagement in online and traditional learning environments were measured and compared to problem statement. Despite the increasing popularity of online learning in higher education, there is a lack of comprehensive research compare students' outcomes and engagement in online. There are a lot of developments of best practice in the digital age. 3. Objective is to compare student academic outcomes such as guidance and returns between online learning and traditional face-to-face learning in higher education. The examine and compare student engagement lives in online learning and traditional face-to-face learning environments. 3. To identify and analyze the factors that contribute to successful and online learning experiences in higher education. 4. Lecture review. Online learning has gathered significant popularity in higher education, prompting and increasing need to investigate its effectiveness in comparing to traditional classroom settings. The analysis will draw on the works of Li and Zhang, who examined the impact of online learning on student achievement by examining to the finding of these studies. This research develops to provide valuable insights into the effectiveness of online learning in higher education, contributing to the ongoing decrease surrounding pedagogical approach in the digital era. Li and Zhang 20,000 然后 Review 2020 那个 5 research motto 什么方法怎么说来着methodology 然后 research design simply selection 然后 data collection data analysis 6 reviews. The result of this is expected to indicate the positive trend. Hence, the hypotheses are such as belonged. H1, there is no significant differences in students' academic performance between online learning and traditional face-to-face learning in higher education. phase two. There is no significant differences in student engagement between online learning and the traditional face-to-face learning in higher education. 7. Study revealed important incident firstly, in terms of student outcomes and analysis showed no significant differences between online learning and traditional face-to-face learning. This suggests that Brown's model of instruction can be equally effective in furthering academic performance and create and critically skills among students. The study indicates that online learning exhibits higher levels of student engagement compared to traditional face-to-face learning. 8. The student concludes that it examines differences in academic outcomes such as guidance and retention rates, and exploit factors contributing to student engagement, including participation levels in terms intercation with peer and instructor and mediation. That concludes my report. Thank you for your listen. I hope I can contribute to discuss and communicate with you about this topic. Thank you again. 姐姐，快帮我听。
Yes, thank you very much, Supanzi. You presented your PPT very well. Your presentation was comprehensive. So I want to ask one question regarding this PPT. You just taken only two hypothesis questions. So your study is, I think, should be more such questions. Only two questions you are considering, H1, H2. So is there any other questions are there, or you missed that one?
OK， 是分什么问题啊？ investigate the effectiveness of online learning in higher education. Student outcomes and engagement.
But there are only two questions. Two variables you are considering only. Is there any other questions there? My second question is
no problem.
So my second question is, you are conducting your research through surveys, interviews. Is there any frame out some questions? Have you gone through that? How many questions you are taking? And how you are going to this survey? Is there any list of schools, colleges where you are going to compare this online learning and traditional learning?
Can you show me your topic, your title of your research? The first title?
First page.
Can you go for the first slide?
Introduction.
title of this? What is title of your this research?
Is this the presentation you have submitted for the for this conference? Is this the topic you have presented for the conference?
是吧？你说是Yes, it's topic.
Your topic is different.
Actually, the one we received is different. The topic is different. So that is why I'm asking. So we received like perceiving and revitalizing traditional dances in ethnographic study. So that we got your name under this topic. But the one you presented is online learning in higher education. So are you sure this is a topic you have given? Okay, so anyway, thank you for your presentation and your time. Good luck for your further researches. Thank you. You can stop sharing.
Excuse me, professors. I have a class later. Can I start with my presentation?
Can you repeat again your question?
结束了吧？
Zin, you asked something, right? Can you repeat your question?
Yeah. Can I presentation now?
Come again, I didn't hear you. So you want to present now?
Yes.
Okay, so can you say what is the title of your topic?
My topic is the construction of a new pattern of all-round three-dimensional and interactive education for higher vocational sports.
Okay, go ahead. You can share your slide and you can start your presentation now.
Okay. Okay, dear doctors and professors, my name is Xin Zhuozhuo, and my thesis title is the construction of a new pattern of all-round three-dimensional and interactive education for higher vocational sports. Next, I will describe the main contents of my research from following aspects. In the background of the new round of curriculum reform, physical education received more and more attention from all walks of life. Physical education has gradually become an indispensable part of the teaching. So, in view of higher vocational sports teaching, how to reform the traditional type teaching way, so as to enhance the level of physical education course in higher vocational college become a topic of priority in higher vocational sport teaching. The source of data for this study was a random sample of physical education teachers and students from 6 higher vocational instructions. Differences in higher vocational physical education classroom, insufficient attention to physical education teaching, lack of effective communication between teacher
They will not
and
respond.
students. The teaching philosophy of physical education teachers is relatively lagging behind. And last one, defects in the teaching mode and evolution criteria. Implementation method of all-round three-dimensional and interactive teaching in higher vocational physical education. First one, establish a new teaching concept. Second, conducting interactive teaching as the core of higher vocational physical education. Third, application of various teaching methods. And last one, adding interactive elements to assessment and evaluation. By building a new model of all-round three-dimensional and interactive teaching, horizontally extended and vertically expanded. Teaching practice structure is construction in order to overcome the current problem of unclear direction and standards in the teaching of physical education. In vocational institution and to truly achieve the teaching objective of comprehensive and coordinated physical and mental development. Okay, this is the end of my oral defense. Thanks for listening. Thank you all.
This student Jin Joe presented your PPT nicely, but your PPT is very short. You have not explained whole.
Hi,
stuff.
Professor.
Yes.
Hi, Professor.
Yes, I'm listening. Yes.
Okay,
Okay,
I
can you hear us?
hear.
Can you hear us?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So your presentation was very short. You didn't explain your research methodology, your limitation of the study, and where you are going to conduct this research. You will reply something.
You did your research in China?
Yes.
Okay, is it in your own state or you have chosen some other place? Where you conducted your research? Which place?
Which province you are conducting your research?
Okay.
And have you mentioned any school colleges?
She's 6.
6 colleges?
Six higher vocational institution.
Yes. Can you name them? What are those schools and colleges, higher educational institutions?
Like Shandong Normal Universities and so on, about 15 students and 15 teachers.
So you have chosen only one college or 6 colleges?
No.
She's getting panic. Just finish.
Okay, it's all right. Good. But you should have such knowledge about your research work, your research board. Whenever you present, you should have such knowledge about this presentation. Whatever you write down, whatever you are presenting, you must have such knowledge. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Is there any other student who want to present? You please close your slides.
Okay, you can stop sharing. Thank you for your presentation.
Okay. Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Excuse me, teacher.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes,
Good morning. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm late. And my ID 0 is 086. Today
Okay.
is my outpatient day. I'm sorry, I'm late.
Okay, it's okay.
Okay. You continue. You can share your slides.
Okay, thank you.
You can
teacher.
start now.
Good morning, teacher. My presentation is about the impacts of health education based on empowerment theory on medication adherence in post-operative throat cancer patients. As we all know, throat cancer is a tumor with a fast-growing incidence in China. Surgery compared with radioactive DNA and throat hormone suppression is the most standard treatment at present. But post-operative recurrent rate is high and prone to many complications. So patients need to take medication for life to maintain the function of throat gland and prevent tumor recurrence. Currently, the main method used to help patients with medication both domestically and internationally are health education and ecological counseling. This method takes the initiative out of the patient's hands. Empowerment education is an approach that teaches patients what to do and aim to achieve health behaviors change by motivating them to want to change themselves. Several studies have shown that empowerment education can make throat patients more confident to take their medications on time. The purpose of my share is to discuss the use of empowerment education for health education for post-operative throat cancer patients and to observe its effect on patients' confidence and medication used to inform future related studies. There are also many experts who are currently conducting research on the use of empowerment education in healthcare, such as Ms. Cai Yuming and Ms. Lin Peiying, who are conducting research on the effect of empowerment education on self-efficacy in patients with acute pancreatitis and depression. And many other experts are conducting more profound research on this topic. In my study, I used a controlled experiment in which 94 patients were underwent throatectomy in the general surgery department of a tertiary care hospital. And the patient from 2020 October to 2022 October were randomly divided into an observation group and a control group using the random number table method. And each group was 47 patients. The control group was given conventional medication guidance, and the observation group was given medication guidance based on empowerment theory. And after 3 months of intervention, the self-efficacy score of the patient in the observation group was higher than that of the control group. And the medication adherence score was higher than that of the control group. And the difference was statistically significant. Based on the result of the experiment, it can be analyzed that health education based on empowerment theory can improve the self-efficacy of patients after throat cancer surgery. And health education based on empowerment theory can improve patients' medication adherence. Thus, health education based on empowerment theory can improve self-efficacy and medication adherence of post-operative throat cancer patients. That's all. Thank you.
Yes, presenter. Thank you very much. And you presented your PPT comprehensively. You explained each and everything regarding this study, cancer patients. I want to ask one question. You have mentioned calculations about that. What are the tools you have selected that one? How you measure the values? What are those tools you are using? You have used that one. Is there any SBS method? Is there any this you consider t-test, hypothesis, or you can say these values, or you have calculated these values? Which technique, which tools you used?
In their study, 94 patients were underwent third dermatic in their department of general surgery of a tertiary hospital. And each group was 47 patients. And after 3 months, the operator control is higher than that of the self-efficacy scores of the observation group was higher than that of the control group. And the drug adherence score was higher than that of the control group. And the difference was steadily significant. But the experiment is that we have some problem is that the difficulty is that there is not possible to find enough segment at once. And the study was conducted over 2 years percent. And the second is include the observation group research the same medical guidance. The study
I understood each and everything regarding this, your control measurement, but my question is regarding any tool technique you used specifically.
sorry, I didn't.
So how did you evaluate your survey questions using SPSS?
Statistical,
How did you bring out the data like you have given in the slide number 8, I think? Can you go to your slide number 8? The results. Okay, now you have displayed the numbers, right? 94.553.
self-efficacy score,
How did you get that one? In which instrument you took that answer? Yes, this one.
how did you calculate that one? Which technique, which statistical method you used?
Self-efficacy score. You mean how do I get the self-efficacy score?
So thank you very much. You presented your PPT nicely. Yes, you can close your slides.
Okay, thank you for your time. All the best for your future. You can stop sharing.
This experiment is only 3 months. We also is the future study. You mean the future study is also for last more time and get more sample.
Yes, I think you used that t-test. Maybe t-test, or you have used another method. So don't worry. You can consider that one. You can keep in mind in future which tool, which statistical method you are using. Okay, don't worry. Now stop sharing your this slides. We are giving opportunity to another candidate.
Hello, Professor. Can I advance my speech? I have some seeing emergency soon. So I want to advance my speech. My number is 0187. My name is Zhao Yue. Can I?
Yeah, okay. Can you say your topic, your title of this one?
My topic is innovation and practical of comprehensive experimental teaching mode for civil engineering. Measures based on engineering education accreditation.
Okay. Can you share your slides?
Okay.
Yeah, you can share and you can start your presentation. One, two, three, four, five.
Can you see my screen?
Check this one also. She presented something. Yeah.
This another one is investigating the effectiveness of online.
The title of my speech is Innovation of and the Practice of Integrate Experimental Teaching Mode for Civil Engineering Measures based on engineering education accreditation status. For civil engineering measures, schools need to do comprehensive experiments in this measure in order to cultivate students' ability to solve engineering programs.
Mr. Zhao, you have to change your slide because I can see only your first title. So when you're presenting, just change the slide. Go to introduction and go to background, the second one.
Second one.
Okay, right. Now you can continue.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
For civil engineering measures, schools need to do comprehensive experiments in this measure in order to cultivate students' ability to solve engineering programs with knowledge and skills. But the traditional experimental teaching has some shortcomings, such as sufficient experimental equipment and single experimental contents and methods, and difficult experimental evolution. Therefore, according to the engineering education accreditation status, a new experimental teaching mode is explored. To address this program, I have done some research to explore a new comprehensive experimental teaching mode for civil engineering measures with virtual simulation experiment, such as an example. On the base of traditional experimental teaching, virtual simulation technology is introduced to let students design, operate, analyze, and evaluate experiments in a virtual environment so as to improve students' innovation and engineering thinking ability. This study aims to provide the theoretical basic and the practical reference for the reform of comprehensive experimental teaching in civil engineering and contribute to the cultivation of high quality civil engineering talents. Mr. Liu Xinqiao and Mr. Sun Jun also conducted a series of research on the cultivation of civil engineering talents and the future development trend, and concluded that combining the theoretical teaching, virtual simulation, and experimental operation to form a complete teaching progress can deepen students' understanding and master of theoretical knowledge, as well as cultivate students' engineering practice and innovation ability, as well as group cooperation, teacher-student interaction, and evolution can promote communication between teachers and students and improve students' cooperation and expression ability. On the basis of existing comprehensive experimental program combined with the teaching reform and the practical experiments of the theoretical cause seismic design of building structures, the existing equipment and virtual simulation software of the structural library of School of Civil Engineering are used to cultivate students' practical ability, innovation ability, and thinking ability, and other requirements closely around the new status of engineering education accreditation. Students perform virtual simulation of seismic solution and damping multi-stir frame and single degree of freedom structural models through MIDI skin software. Compare and analyze with environmental results. Master the theory and technology of structural control and seismic performance, and improve the ability of practice, innovation, critical thinking, and solving complex engineering problems. Based on the experimental results, it can be analyzed that the result-oriented concept constructs the objectives of comprehensive experimental teaching, clarifies the requirements for students' abilities, and corresponds to the graduation requirements of engineering education accreditation. The mood of virtual simulation experiment optimize the contents and the methods of comprehensive experimental teaching, improves the efficiency and effectiveness of experimental teaching, and enhance students' practical the innovation abilities. Therefore, the teaching mood of virtual simulate experiment can effectively improve students' theoretical knowledge and experimental skills, enhance students' engineering consciousness and innovation ability, effectively save teaching resources, improve teaching efficiency and quality, effectively adapt to the concept and goal of engineering and education accreditation, and promote the international development of civil engineering measures. That's all. Thank you for watching. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah. The PPT was nice. You presented comprehensively. Do you agree that virtual simulation is important in engineering field? Or practically we can do the best one? Virtually or only experimental? Give your views whether virtually we can do some practicals or virtually we are conduct such studies, we can help the engineers such things or not. Because if we do such practical in a field in physical mode, it will be better, I think. So what do you want to say?
So I think because the teaching mood of virtual simulation and the environment can effectively improve students' the mental skills, enhance students' engineering consciousness and innovation ability, effectively save teaching resources, improve teaching efficiency and quality. And promote the international development of civil engineering measures.
How many colleges? How many colleges?
I have do the research in China, and I have 3 colleges such as Heilongjiang University and Beijing. I have do some research in Beijing and Heilongjiang. I have collected 3 colleges.
Okay, fine. Thank you very much for your presentation. Now you can stop sharing your slide and we can give opportunity to another candidate. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor.
Yes, any candidate presenter who is ready to present his or her PPT. Any presenter who is ready to present.
Ms. Jayani, you are here? Jayani Nirosha. Jayani Nirosha, you're there?
Jen,
Yes, madam, I am here. But
Okay. Okay, good morning.
Good morning, everybody. I am here, but I have a small problem. My computer was damaged. Suddenly, my computer was damaged. I will repair my computer because in the Sri Lankan time, there's a 7:55 a.m. But can you give me the small time to repair my computer?
Sure. You can take your time, okay? So I will come back to you later.
Okay, madam. Thank you very much.
So, Zhao, you're here?
So,
Zhao, you.
okay, that is already finished.
You finished, right?
Yes.
May I know who is viewer V20?
Binglu.
Okay, Wang Lu. Can you share your slide? Can you do your presentation now? Wang Lu? Wang Lu, can you do your presentation now? May I know who is Vivo V2055A? On the screen, I can see this number, and who is Samsung SM? Mariam, can you turn your camera and can you hear me? Mr. Benedict? Mr. Benedict?
Anyone?
Is anyone available to do your presentation now? Wang Lu? Am I audible to you all?
Hello, Professor. My name is Zhang Tongyuan.
Yeah. Can you give me your title for the presentation?
Yes. Yes. My number is 112.
Okay.
After Wang Lu.
Okay. Can you turn your camera on? Is it possible?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Let me see. Wait a moment.
Sure. Unmute yourself. I'm not hearing you. I'm not hearing you. Unmute yourself. Ms. Zhang? I'm not hearing you. Can you raise your volume?
Oh, okay. I check the link. What? Can you see my PPT?
Yeah, I can see you.
Oh, okay, thank you, thank you. Hello, everyone. My
Yeah.
my research is about calligraph's effect on anxiety on Cambodia among Hong Kong patients with life-threatening illness. The abstract is about female breast cancer in. Second is anxiety is a major problem for people with breast cancer and has devastating effect on and physical
Same, but she has not written impact of
well-being.
spin.
The third one is anxiety and depression levels among breast cancer patients change as their disease develops. A cancer diagnosis was made to study effective treatments is more. The last is Chinese calligraph has potential to be used as an intervention for anxiety, meaning as a spiritual activity to increase self-awareness and self-confidence. The statement of problem. First one is the treated of death and worry about dying, known as that for her bill, is one of the most universal fears and maybe the root for many phobia. Anxiety is a major.
Yes, you please change your slides side by side. If you are going through another slide, please change slide time to time.
Let
And
me
you
see.
switch on your camera also.
Maybe some problems.
You are on the first page, abstract.
It's okay.
Yes, side by side, you can change your slides when you speak or something. Okay.
Okay. But I can't control. Now is okay.
Yes, your second slide is statement. Now,
Yeah, yes.
this is abstract.
Yeah, yes. Oh, this is third. The
Yes, statement of problem. Now you can start.
The second one is relaxation techniques such as meditation have been studied extensively over the past several decades to see if they have an effect on stress reactions. The third one is Chinese calligraph is a form of brush meditation that may bring about bodily and
physiological games and harmony. Activity of study is about to explore the reduction in anxiety and concomitant depression levels in breast cancer calligraphy intervention. The research question is anxiety and concomitant depression levels among breast cancer patients in Hong Kong will be evaluated. To what extent can Chinese calligraphy help breast cancer patients in Hong Kong cope with their worry about depression?
You can go to your next slide, research methodology.
Okay. I use
Okay, relax.
Right PPT.
Don't worry, don't worry.
Sorry.
Be relaxed. Be relaxed.
Oh, this is my right PPT.
Now, after research question, you can.
Slide number 7.
About discussion is the first breast cancer patients are plagued by anxiety, which has several impacts on emotional health. In some cultures where people are encouraged to express themselves while experiencing difficulty. However, showing emotions such as anger and grief through words or even one's face is considered inappropriate and even immature. Japanese culture promotes repression in social life will be sure to create calmer states of mind among the individuals. People in their cultures may not benefit as so much from promoting verbal expression. Facts have proved that the efficacy of Chinese calligraphy for breast cancer patients with Chinese cultural roots is the primary goal of this study. So the conclusion is Chinese calligraphy has been shown to have considerable impacts on the cognitive activation, perception sharpening, physiological slowing, and emotion stability of others. In terms of anxiety and concomitant depression reduction, it may be a useful treatment for breast cancer patients. The goal of this study is to see if Chinese calligraphy may have breast cancer patients in Hong Kong lessen their levels of anxiety and commission sadness. So this is my report. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very
That's all.
much. Your presentation was nice. You presented very nicely. There is one question I want to ask. One question regarding this study. This study is going to be conducted in Hong Kong. How many hospitals you are visiting and where you are conducting this research?
How many?
How many hospitals you are visiting and where this study is going to be conducted?
I take the research about in Hong Kong and China mainland. So the result is not bring out now.
As you mentioned in a research question, to what extent can China calligraphy help breast cancer patient in Hong Kong? So your study is going to be conducted in Hong Kong. Which hospitals and where you are going to conduct this research?
Yeah.
Are there any hospitals or institutions or where you are going to conduct this research?
My research is about Chinese calligraphy for the anxiety of the illness.
Okay, it's all right. How will you collect this data? What is the research methodology?
For the practice the Chinese calligraph, and I will look for the practice or no practice and so to look the result.
Okay, thank you very much. Stop sharing your slide. Now we are going to give opportunity to another candidate to present. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you very much.
Stop sharing your slides.
Thank you. Thank you.
Close your windows.
So my English level is so so poor. So I maybe can't say clear.
Okay, Ms. Zhang, thank you for your presentation. Your presentation was very nice. So can you stop sharing your slide so that we can give other person to chance?
Close your slides.
Why?
You want to present more?
So sorry, I can't understand.
It's okay. You can stop sharing.
Sorry.
Good. Yes. Yes, any other student who want to present? Next presenter,
So Wangdu, you are there?
Rangdu,
Yes,
you want to
hello.
present?
Yes, I want to present.
Okay, open your slides and share your slide and just start your presentation. Mariam. No, no. No.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning. Your paper code, paper ID.
Hello, doctor.
Yes, your paper ID, please tell me your paper ID.
Okay,
ICOG.
my paper ID is ICOGE 051.
051. Okay. Now you can start your presentation.
Hello, good morning to greetings from Ghana. Good morning from Ghana to all participants of this international conference. I am O.C. Antra Benedict, and thank you for having me. I'm presenting on educational level of commercial vehicle drivers and awareness of in-vehicle air pollutants and their effect on respiratory health of passengers. So this is how the outline of the presentation looks like.
Yeah, after this.
Now, so drivers and passengers are exposed to high levels of in-vehicle air pollutants. That's air pollutant inside the cabin of their motor vehicles. Now, exposure to these air pollutants poses serious health risks. There have been reported mortality as a result of cardiovascular diseases and respiratory diseases being resulting from exposure to these in-vehicle air pollutants. Example of the air pollutants include carbon monoxide and particulate matter. The conceptual framework presents all the relevant variables that contribute to emissions of air pollutants inside the cabin of motor vehicles. Now, drivers and passengers are exposed, and through inhalation, they become susceptible to both respiratory and non-respiratory diseases, and they present with symptoms of non-respiratory and respiratory diseases. Of significant mention are other factors like the level of formal education of drivers that can influence their knowledge and on their understanding of air pollutant exposure and its health risk, as well as their knowledge on existing laws of environmental pollution. So globally, 3 million people are dying annually out of air pollution. Acute respiratory infection is one of the top 10 causes of hospitalization and death in sub-Saharan Africa. There is increasing urbanization in sub-Saharan Africa, so the population at the urban areas is growing. There is more demand than use for motor vehicles for transportation. And then, as a result, there's increasing levels of pollution inside motor vehicles. And this is of great health concern. Now, this study is actually an expansion of studies that have been undertaken across the world, but more specifically, this one focuses on commercial drivers and passengers and their exposure to in-vehicle air pollutants and how it may affect their health risk. Again, this current study looks at the formal educational level of drivers and how that may impact their awareness of exposure to air pollutants and its associated health risk. So the study seeks to determine the levels of personal carbon monoxide exposure, vehicular levels of carbon monoxide exposure, vehicular levels of particulate matter exposure, to determine the prevalence of respiratory health symptoms among commercial drivers and passengers, and then the educational level of drivers and their awareness to the health risks of air pollutants. The literature review presents very interesting outcomes. Campanolo and others, in working on their journal article, looking at factors affecting in-vehicle exposure to traffic air pollutants, had this key argument. They said that route, traffic, and time-related variables are associated with each other. They mentioned that significantly, the most effective response to control in-vehicle air pollutants is through ventilation. Now, this assertion on ventilation is contradicted by Lim and others who said that if you want to control air pollutants inside the cabin of vehicles, close the windows of cars. Don't open the windows. Now, Danvijay and Poika and Ghani worked on assessment of drivers' knowledge regarding air pollutants and then its prevention. Now, in Danvijay and Poika's work, the drivers had good knowledge of air pollution, and it meant that that is good in any effort at controlling it. In the case of Ghani, the drivers had limited knowledge on the air pollutant that was studied among the drivers, particulate matter. And if that was the case, since they had limited knowledge, then it meant that their any effort at controlling it too was limited. Effion worked on air pollution at major traffic areas in Nigeria. Now, it said that in high traffic density roads, the concentration of carbon monoxide is high. If it is high, it means exposure levels will be high, and then health risk to the respiratory system too will be high. So he talked about the concentration, amount of concentration. Fedos and Juliana, whose work was done in Malaysia here, they said that continuous exposure to air pollutant inside the cabin of cars will pose health risk to the respiratory system. So they talk about the length of time of exposure. Kadiala and Kuma mentioned that ventilation and general weather conditions actually affect in-vehicle air pollutants. Husu and One said that the air pollutants inside the cars is affected by infiltration from outside the car, that's from the car's exhaust. So the study was a cross-sectional study. The study setting motor vehicles that travel selected destinations in average of 1 hour from Medina. Now, Medina is a commercial lorry station where commercial activities take place. Commercial activities of goods and services take place here in Accra, Ghana. The study population was to look at the whole number of drivers that apply this route, that's 100. So by using purposive sampling approach, the target was to look at all the drivers, all the 100. However, 89 consented to participate. Now, of the 89, a passenger on board of each of the vehicles was randomly selected to participate in the study. In the data collection process, there were 3 phases: meeting with prospective respondents and stakeholders to explain the objectives of the study, and then selection and enrollment of study participants. Then the data collection procedures concluded use of interviews, questionnaire, guides, and then air pollutant monitors to measure air pollutants inside the cabin of the vehicles. Excel spreadsheet and Stata software were used for the quantitative data analysis, in vivo for qualitative data analysis. Then the study was ethically approved and consent was taken from respondents before it was undertaken. Data was protected from accidental loss and then confidentiality of study participants. Now the results. So in all, 178 participated. More than half of the drivers had attained secondary education. Others had other forms and even didn't have any level of education. If we look at the distribution of respiratory symptoms by educational level, we see that drivers who had basic level of education and the others, some of it did not have any education at all, combined have more reported symptoms of the respiratory disease or respiratory infection than all the others. Now, cough, phlegm production, wheezing, and breathlessness were common reported symptoms. All the drivers claimed knowledge of pollution, but the emphasis was that the pollution inside the vehicles was as a result of emission from the vehicle exhaust. The higher the exposure levels of pollutants, the more prevalent the respiratory health symptom. Coughing and phlegm were common respiratory symptoms that were presented. Breathlessness and coughing were high among drivers with low level of education, and same for the passengers. We realized that the higher the educational level, the more awareness drivers had on the air pollutant exposure and efforts at preventing them. Carbon monoxide and particulate matter 2.5 were common air pollutants measured in the vehicles. Cough was common among the personal levels of carbon monoxide exposure. Drivers had limited understanding on pollution, and this possibly influences any efforts at controlling the in-vehicle air pollution. Now, so we are saying that if drivers' educational level may have an impact on their health awareness of air pollutants. Thank you very much for having me.
Yes, thank you very much. You presented your PPT nicely. You explained comprehensively each and everything regarding your topic, educational background of commercial vehicle drivers and their awareness in vehicle air pollutant and respiratory health impact on passengers. There is one question I want to ask you regarding this study. Which methodology you are using this? You have collected 79 drivers data, or in the last discussion you mentioned 179 something. Is there any clarity you can give such idea about it?
Hello.
Yes.
Please, can you repeat the question for me?
In data collection, you consider only, I think, 79 something drivers. 89. And at last discussion, you mentioned 179 something drivers discussion.
Okay, thank you very much, Doctor. So I explained that the study was to employ purposive sampling to get all the drivers, the total population of drivers that ply the route that we selected. And that total population was 100. However, 89 of them agreed to participate. So we had 89. Now, of the 89 drivers and their vehicles, we also selected a passenger on board of each of the 89 vehicles. So then we had, so that one was used random sampling to select a passenger on each on board. So passenger each on board. So we had 89 passengers and then 89 drivers. So in all, it came to 178 as I recorded here. So 89 drivers, 89 passengers.
Total number of participants 178.
Exactly. 89 drivers, 89 passengers. That makes 178.
Okay, good. So can you give some idea whether it will be successful in the death study? Means we can find out some solution for the future of this study. Is there any scope, or we have to study more? What are your recommendations?
Okay. So so yes, of course, future study have to be undertaken in other areas, especially in developing countries. That's number one. Two, yes, the recommendation is that, you know, we are talking about formal education. That is true. And that is education that we all go through from school in classroom and the rest. But the other understanding too is that just going through the classroom might not offer you a lot of appreciation of certain things around. So you can talk about going to school to study let's say science, but if practically things are not put in place for you to practicalize it, it's going to be difficult. So let me give an example. We are talking about pollution inside vehicles. We are talking about increasing urbanization in sub-Saharan Africa. If I study pollution in the classroom and then I come out and then the population in the urban area is so much and there are so many vehicles, some of which are even old, how do we control pollution? The only way is that our governments are creating systems where we don't get densely populated at one location. That one is outside formal education. It's just clear understanding. So that's one of them. The other thing is that we need to educate people, whether inside classroom or outside classroom, about the health effects of their activities and the activities of the others, because health is global. What affects somebody can affect me. So this understanding too needs to be carried out even outside the classroom, not just within the classroom. So these are some of the recommendations.
For your clarification and recommendations. Your presentation was very nice. Thank you very much. Now you
Thank
can
you,
stop
Doctor.
the sharing.
Thank you,
your
Doctor.
slides. Thank you.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Okay, so we are going to have a tea break for 15 minutes. So now the time is Malaysian time 10:45. So we'll be coming back at 10:15. Just 10:55 we'll be back. Okay. So just give us a 10-minute break to have some tea. So we'll come back and continue. Thank you.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Good morning. Good morning, Professor.
Hello, how are you all?
Hello.
Yes, how are you? I
I'm
followed your
Wang.
presentation. I followed your presentation. It was okay.
My thesis is the antiquity of jazz in China. Jazz in China from yellow music to the revival of jazz in China. Abstract in this thesis, the development of jazz in Beijing is placed within the context of the history of Chinese music, notably in the 20th century, and its relevance is highlighted. Numerous studies on Chinese jazz have centered on Shanghai, where jazz was first brought into China. Prior to this investigation, there is a tendency to overlook the importance of Beijing as the birthplace of jazz traditions and artist characters of jazz in China throughout time. As a result, a look at the role of jazz in China before to and after 1980s indicates the importance of Beijing jazz residents to the contemporary Chinese society. Statement of the problem. The United States of America. Jazz is being extensively promoted by the Chinese government as a method of strengthening diplomatic connections between the United States and China. A group of teachers has been sent to China, and the financial resources have been made aside in order to encourage the development of jazz in that nation. It was stated by Stephen Ben Susan, president of Blue Note Entertainment Group, that the Blue Note network of jazz clubs called the Historical American Embassy on East Tiananmen Street, number 23, their home during the tail end of the 1930s. Five Chinese intellectuals continued their discussion from the 1970s into the 1980s on the topic of whether or not China's modernization should be more westernized or orientalized. No one has ever been able to arrive at a conclusive decision about this topic, despite the fact that the modernization of China had just begun at the time that this conversation was initiated. However, in the 1980s, indications of a postmodern trend in the arts and other aspects of public life began to emerge. This clues point to a potential shift in the not too distant future. China's march toward modernization. Conceptual framework. Objective of the study. To study the contemporary musicology which seeks the concrete, complex, and historically situated meaning of music. To define the multidisciplinary nature of the methodology, which embraces various paradigms from the fields of history, sociology, ethnography, and ethnomusicology. To study the personal thinking of the placemaker that would be more conventionally practiced in filtering the results. Research questions. 1. What are the concrete, complex, and historically placed concepts in modern musicology? 2. What are the multidisciplinary aspects of the technique incorporates many perspectives from the domains of history, sociology, ethnography, and ethnomusicology? Emissions of the study. Due to the fact that some performers have formed an isolated universe on the city's busy downtown, it is difficult to hear these kinds of debates in Beijing's jazz community. Relevance of the study. To a greater extent, jazz is receiving assistance from the United States government in China. which is also used in music as a tool to foster better relations between the two countries, both financial resource and human resource, in the form of instructors, have been allotted to foster development of jazz across the nation. PDF 这文章怎么下？
Oh, okay. And George. Oh, no, I that's it. Oh, it's so good. It's so expensive. Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Professor.
Yeah, Wang Lu. So
morning.
we start our session again. So Wang Lu, can you share your slide and you can start your presentation now?
Good morning, Professor. Okay, can you see?
Yeah, I can see.
Okay. My name is Wang Lu.
Paper ID.
My thesis is the antiquity of jazz in China. Jazz in China, from yellow music to the revival of jazz in China. Abstract. In this thesis, the development of jazz in Beijing is placed within the context of history of Chinese music.
Can you send the slide full screen?
My name is Wang Lu.
Only phone, okay, mobile phone. Fine.
My name is Wang Lu. Can you see? Can you hear?
Okay, you can continue.
Continue.
Abstract. In this thesis, the development of jazz in Beijing is placed within the context of the history of Chinese music, notably in the 20th century, and its relevance is highlighted. Numerous studies on Chinese jazz have centered on Shanghai, where jazz was first brought into China. Prior to this investigation, there is a tendency to overlook the importance of Beijing as the birthplace of jazz residents and the artist characters of jazz in China's old time. As a result, a look at the role of jazz in China before to and after 1980s indicates the importance of Beijing's jazz residents to the contemporary Chinese society. Statement of the problem. The United States of America jazz is being extensively promoted by Chinese government as a method of strengthening diplomatic connection between the United States and China. A group of teachers has been sent to China, and the financial resources have been made aside in order to encourage the development of jazz in the nation. It was stated by Stephen Ben-Susan, president of Blue Note Entertainment Group, that Blue Note network of jazz clubs called the Historical American Embassy on East Tiananmen Street number 23, their home during the tail end of the 1930s. 5 Chinese intellectuals continued their discussion on from the 1970s into the 1980s on topic of whether or not China's modernization should be more westernized or orientalized. No one has ever been able to arrive at a conclusive decision about this topic. Despite the fact that modernization of China had just begun at the time that this conversation was initiated. However, in the 1980s, indications of a postmodern trend in the arts and other aspects of public life began to emerge. These clues point to a potential shift in the not too distant future, China's march toward modernization. Conceptual framework. Objective of the study. To study the contemporary musicology, which seeks the concrete, complex, and historically situated meaning of music. To define the multidisciplinary nature of the methodology, which embraces various paradigms from the fields of history, sociology, ethnography, and ethnomusicology. 3. To study the personal thinking of the placemaker that would be more conveniently practiced in filtering the results. Research questions. 1. What are the concrete, complex, and historically placed concepts in modern musicology? 2. What are the multidisciplinary aspects of the technique encompass many perspectives from domains of history, sociology, ethnography, and ethnomusicology? Emissions of the study. Due to the fact that some performers have formed an isolated universe on the city's busy downtown, it is difficult to hear these types of debates in Beijing's jazz community. Relevance of the study. To a greater extent, the jazz is receiving assistance from the United States government in China, which is also using music as a tool to foster better relations between the two countries, both financial resource and human resource, in the form of instructors, have been allotted to foster the development of jazz across the nation. As a consequence of the revival of culture and economy, the intellectuals rediscovered a sense of hope and embarked on new careers in their respective fields. A long-standing debate over China's modernization centered on the downtown dichotomy between Westernization and Orientalization was rekindled in 1978, the year that marked a turning point. This problem has never been resolved since it was first brought up in the 1860s. While China was only beginning the process of modernization, the postmodern trend in art and the secular life started to show indications of development as it progressed in the 1980s, suggesting that there is potential for China to become more contemporary in not too distant future. Research methodology. This thesis investigates why jazz as a medium for creating a postmodernist social milieu in Beijing. Therefore, the multidisciplinary nature of the research can be observed in the methodological approach that it takes, which makes a wide variety of paradigms originating from other fields. Theories that are generated from these paradigms serve as a compass to direct the design and the implementation of the research, as well as analysis of the data that was gathered. It is essential to keep in mind that theory is a guide to practice, and that no research can be conducted correctly in absence of an underlying theoretical framework or model. Result discussion. The idea of jazz on American music scene underwent a radical transformation between 1940s and 1970s. However, jazz was almost non-existent at this time in China. Many performers in China's classical and traditional music scene were banished by the return of jazz in the 1980s. The death of China, Mao Zedong, in September 1976 marked the end of old era and the beginning of a new one marked by restoration, reforms, and openness. Over time, beginning in 1977, there has been a growing push to re-examination the instance of those wrongfully killed during the Cultural Revolution. Musicians who made it through the Cultural Revolution saw optimism in this moment. Once justice was restored, many previously suppressed music styles were accepted into the mainstream as well. Conclusion. Although Shanghai was where jazz was originally brought to China, the capital city of Beijing is where Chinese first became exposed to Georgia. Jazz had widespread success in Shanghai throughout the 1920s and 1930s, although only among a small segment of the Chinese population. Where the internet was the tribe of data present researchers with a found-able task. I'm keeping my scissors around as a reminder of the foundation role it had in my own education and the kinds of studies I plan to do in the future. Thank you, Professor. Hello?
Yes.
Ah.
Yes. Bindu, we observed your PPT. Go through that PPT. You presented very well. But there is one suggestion for you, and even for all of you, those who are presenting this one. Some founds in some paragraph, there is another found. In another paragraph, there is another found. Font size should be similar, visible to the audience so that everyone can understand each and everything. So regarding this, your topic, which part of this, because China is a great extent provision, you are considering this ZAS, which part of area you are conducting this research?
Yellow music was first used in 1945 in China's creative media caused by the Cold War. In 1915, with the outbreak of the Korean War looming, jazz was as yellow music as a sign of American influence on China. Barely 1 year after the capital of China was relocated from Nanjing to Beijing, jazz, or even its translation, 爵士乐, was considered immoral by the People's Republic of China for next 3 decades following 1950. Thank you, teacher.
Okay, good. Anything you want to ask?
Okay, thank you, Wangzi. It's a nice presentation about, because we come to know more about China jazz, where it started and where it established. Thank you for your presentation. Mr. Mohammed, now we can do your presentation. Mr. Mohammed?
The second half of the 1980s saw the emergence of postmodernism in Beijing. Opportunity to reflect on the difficulties China had encountered throughout in modernization as a result of its relative calm in the 1980s. China was free to experiment with new ideas without running about becoming extinct. It was at this time that yellow made a comeback as a culture symbol of China. Thank you, teacher.
Thank you, Wangzi. Okay, Mr. Mohammed.
Have a nice time. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, Mr. Mohammed, you can start your presentation now. Start sharing your slide and you can do.
Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me?
You're not audible. Can you increase your volume? Because we are not hearing it clearly.
Yes, now can you hear me?
Yeah, can.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Okay, so my name is Muhammad Hassan Alibas. I'm, of course, one of the PhD scholar from Lincoln University.
Okay. Still, I'm hearing your voice, but it's very low.
Let
Increase the volume. Please increase the volume.
1 second, sir.
So is it possible for you to do some earpiece and do? Because your laptop and yourself is, you have a lot of distance. So that is why we are not able to hear you.
Yeah, now it's better.
Yeah, much better. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, yes. Yes, good morning. My name is Muhammad Hassan Ali Abbas. I'm a PhD scholar from Lincoln University and in the field of education and teaching from 1992, basically. And right now I'm teaching in Saudi Arabia in one of the international schools there. Let me step into my presentation of the main, of course, main objective. Can you see my screen, please?
No.
No.
1 second.
We are unable to listen.
Hold on. I'm sharing my screen now. 1 second. Sorry for disturbance, sir. I hope now it will be there.
Yeah.
Okay. So the main topic or the objective of my task of my research was based on systematic study on effect of doping of cesium on electronic, magnetic, and optical properties. And the main objective of this research was to get an idea about that type of material which can be used especially in our upcoming latest solar panels and latest technologies used for high efficiency in different part of the solar systems. Because if we know the optical properties based on reflection and refraction, refractive indices, and if we know about the magnetic properties, so it will be very easy for the researchers to design those type of solar panels which are helpful in getting the best efficiency, which is the main task of all research is going on in different part of the world based on the energy crisis. So me and my professor, my professor in one of the university here in Islamabad, Rifa International University, Professor Sikandar Azam. So he was the main mentor, and of course we worked together, and we are still working on, because this will be my main research articles and objectives in my further research in my material sciences. I will focus on to briefly, of course, introduce the objectives. Some of them I already introduced to you, methodology I used, summary of the results and discussion, and of course the final conclusion based on the results. So we have ferrites like one of the high magnetostatician coefficient, and they are used in the voltage tunable magnetoelectronic devices because they have a strong coupling or interaction between the strain and ferromagnetic ordering. So because normally we use LDA, local distribution, when we want to study the interaction between the nuclei and the orbiting electrons, so we have a local distribution analysis. But if you go for the GGA, the generalized distribution, so we can use that research in which we can link thousands of atoms and nuclei, because when we are designing a particular material, we are not limited to one particular type of atom or a system in any research. So we have to be very specific in designing those materials which can be helpful in increasing the efficiency by minimizing the energy losses. Okay, so the objective, as I just mentioned before, was the main focus on the electronic and magnetic and optical properties, and why these are all linked, because in electromagnetic spectrum, when we talk about interaction of oscillating electric and magnetic fields, is main part of the source of energy in case of the solar panels. So electronic and magnetic properties, they are the key domain parameters which are going to define the domain and range linking to the efficiency of a particular material. Because if we have the less reflection coefficient, high refraction coefficient, it will increase the energy transmission from the outer source, of course, from the solar energy into the solar panel, and then we can use it inside the panels for our all operations as required. If we want to back up, to have to store that energy in the form of chemical energy, and then we can use it later on as per our needs in the modern research is going on. And of course, we can use a different type of tools and methods, but what we selected, we go for the GGA, like generalized approximations, instead of the local distribution approximation, because the local distribution on all of the research in the previous years or even spread over a century, it was only linked with just like a monatomic structure, like we can have only one atom and we can do a research in our physics, electronics, and in our material sciences. But now when we're going to add more atoms leading to the complex systems, like where we have thousands of atoms that are orbiting electrons, so the LDA will not work out, will not lead to a high, precise and accurate results. But we want to have an accurate results, not the precise one. Precise, in some cases it matters, but accuracy is more important, in which we are just, on our target. After these objectives, I will just mention you that we have used density functional theory. So, because this is the method which is used to study the structure of atoms, the molecules, the crystals, their surfaces, the intermolecular interactions based on their interatomic, intermolecular forces. So that's why we have used this, DFT, or density functional theory, because it's linked with the density of atoms, density of molecules, and it's used for the further linking and deciding and and simply gaining the objectives leading to the multi atomic structures, because when we know their interactions, so we can think on it and we can found those materials. I will show you with some of the graphs in this very short time, because those are very helpful in obtaining efficiency more than the normal level. Okay, so these are the all mathematical, tools we have used. So to save time, I will not go into mathematical details. Generally, I gave you the idea that because normally we have, for a monoatomic system like single electron or maximum a couple of electron orbiting a nuclei, but in my model, in our research, we have selected, or we simply kept the nuclei as a constant parameter, and we just linked the electronic properties, because electronic properties were used in deciding the optical, magnetic, and electrical properties, which is used in the design and structure and all parameters for our solar systems. Okay, so this is the fermionic approximation we have used in our research, so I will not step into that. Basically, in the advanced modeling, like we have used the Shon-Kohn or Han-Kohn theorems, it was mainly developed in 1960s around. So he proved that the DFT, density functional theory, was the exact theory linking to many body systems or many body problems, sir. Because when we are targeting to design a material which can deal with wide range of incoming electromagnetic radiations and absorb the maximum energy with minimum energy losses into our systems, so we are dealing, sir, with many body problems, because the single body problem, which was based on the local density approximation LDA, it was least helpful, and it has a very, very limited range. And of course, with the help of these models, with the help of the Kohn-Sham density functional theory, so what we do, like we have selected, this theory has selected bases which we have used in our research of non-interaction electrons. As I mentioned you, sir, that we are only talking about interaction among the electron, but not interacting with the nuclei. Because if electrons, they are in the ground state, then they gain energy, they step on to the high energy state, then they go for the de-excitation. That de-excitation energy is used as one of the key parameter in deciding the stored energy in our systems which are the internal part and one of the significant feature of our solar panels. So of course the ion density and all of the position matters in our crystal structure, but this is the key part which will help in our understanding. The GGA generalized, a gradient approximation. The gradient, we talk about the relation between different ordinates in subatomic level, that how much energy has been accommodated inside the system. So we talk about different type of important parameters like the density, because the density of the nuclei in the one particular system will decide that how much energy can be stored in the system. So of course, these all things are very, very important in our explanations. We use these methods of calculation and we receive these graphical understanding, like this is one of the structure of our molecule, or which we are talking about now, in which we have like nickel, cadmium, iron, cesium, oxygen is hexagonal symmetrical structure with all of these parameters. If you look on the electronic properties, so there are some part in which we have a transitions, and these transitions are going to decide that how much energy can be received from the outer systems from electromagnetic spectrum, and how much energy can be retained inside for a maximum time. Like if you look on, sir, the density of states comparison in terms of the energy, so we have certain transition levels which are going to decide the shape and size of the solar panels in our future research, and very effective, sir. In the same way, if we have partial density approximations or partial density of state, so we can see that for different materials when they join together, we can identify, we can specify certain points in which we have some particular energy, some particular levels of energy losses, but generally it's a wide range of energies which are stored, which are available inside the system. And this can be supported by even by the optical properties, because when we have incoming electromagnetic radiation, sir, we are concerned with optical properties based on frequency, based on energy of the incoming radiation, because the all electromagnetic radiations travel with the same speed of light, but we have the main difference based on their energies, main difference on the base of their frequencies, like from starting from the gamma ray end to the radio end. We all know that we have the maximum frequency and energy if we talk about gamma ray end, and we have a maximum wavelength on the other side. So this analysis of these points are very helpful in also deciding the domain of the materials we talk about. These are some of the research part. I will just carry on quickly to save your time, sir. And the main conclusion about on all of this research, the main purpose, as I mentioned you said before, to study optical and optical properties, electronic properties, and magnetic properties. And so to obtain a unit cell, which can be used as a part of the system to design our future solar cells, to have a best cells for energy transmission from the external source to store inside our localized source, so that can be used for a longer time. Of course, we should be concerned about the Coulomb interaction between all of these atoms, because that also matters, and because the Coulomb's law is one of the famous law in our physics. So with the help of this study, sir, if we just carry on this research, we suggest that we are able to design those materials which are very effective in maintaining the energy at specific optimum level. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Yes, thank you very much. You presented your PPT very well. Comprehensively, you explained each and everything.
Sir.
But if I want to say something regarding this physics, I have no idea about much regarding this physics. I am not having background of this, so I will not ask any question regarding this. But whatever you explained, whatever you presented, I think this study will be successful and you will go in deep regarding this optical fibers.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mohammed. As Dr. Emmanuel said, we are not that much familiar with your physics. So it's nice because it's a new experience for us to know about the electromagnetic physics. So thank you for your one, and I wish you a great success for your research. Thank you.
Ma'am. Thank you, Jazakallah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.
Mr. Tang Yang. Tang Yang, are you there?
Yeah, teacher.
Okay, you can turn on your camera and you can start your presentation.
Okay, thank you, teacher.
This one is research strength.
Tang Yang, we cannot hear you.
Yes, I can hear you.
No, I'm not hearing your voice. Now I can. Okay, you can start your presentation. Can you go for the title? Title slide, the first one.
My title?
Yeah, the first slide. First, before one, first one.
First one?
Yeah, go for the first one slide. Above. Number one. Slide number one.
Number one.
Yeah, click on that one.
I'm sorry, teacher.
So you're playing your video, right?
Yes.
Okay, can you share the sound because we are not hearing your sound.
Can I?
Topic is another. Have you given another topic because your against your name, your research topic is research on the evaluation standard for traditional sports course in Congoy National Traditional Sport Course. So your topic is not matched. Can you tell us the code ICOGE 125? 125 is your code, research paper code.
I'm sorry, teacher. Teacher, I'm sorry. Maybe I can't respond you. So can next student.
So what happened? Your system is not working or some issues?
Okay, Ms. Tang, you can share your video. The one you played, right? You can share.
Okay, okay. Thank you, teacher. Thank you very much.
Okay, while sharing, there's an option in your Zoom link where you can go and do share audio. Once you start sharing your video, you can click that one.
Okay, okay. I can share my video now, right?
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you, teacher.
Same, something. Now put the voice. Bye. Okay, She didn't put the voice at that time.
Okay, teacher, it's all my conference later, my paper.
Okay. Even though we didn't hear your voice, we just go through your slides. So you did a research on traditional sports, right? Can I know what is the traditional sports of China?
Traditional of China?
Traditional sports, because your research is on about traditional sports, right?
Courses.
I'm sorry, teacher.
But our previous traditional courses, you mentioned that, and you consider only one college, that is Unixi College. Why you did not choose another colleges also? In the same provision, you can choose another colleges also. So you selected only one college. Why is it so? Can you reply?
Sorry, teacher, I can't speak because my English not good. So I can't hear clearly and can't speak.
Unable to respond. Okay, thank you very much for sharing your slides. And please stop sharing these slides so that we can give opportunity to another candidate. Thank you very much.
Thank you, teacher. Thank you, professor.
We can say China. Thank you. Yeah, traditional sports courses. Yes, anyone, another candidate?
Jazz.
Any presenter? Zaz?
Yes, thank you. I'm here. Dear doctor and scholar, hello everyone.
So are you ready to present your PPT? Okay. Share your slides and present your PPT.
Okay, I'm trying. Edison, can you hear me?
We can hear you. Can you share your slide?
Yeah. I'm sorry, I don't very well in English. I will try my video. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. Judgment. Judgment.
The role of emotional intelligence in teacher effectiveness, a study of training programs. I will divide this study into introduction, problem statement objectives, research methodology, research results and conclusion, and other modules to report to scholars. Emotional intelligence is regarded as an important part of teachers' effectiveness. In recent years, more and more attention has been paid to integrating emotional intelligence training into teachers' education plan. The purpose of this study is to examine the role of emotional intelligence in teacher effectiveness and to explore the extent to which teacher training programs incorporate emotional intelligence training. There is a need to investigate the long-term effects of emotional intelligence training, examine its impact on specific subject areas or grade levels, and identify effective strategies within teacher training programs for enhancing emotional intelligence skills. In order to solve the above problems, this study has specially set some objectives. 1. To assess the long-term effects of emotional intelligence training on teacher effectiveness by examining changes in classroom management, student engagement, and overall instructional quality over an extended period of time. 2. To investigate the impact of emotional intelligence training on different subject areas or grade levels to determine variations in teacher effectiveness across specific contexts. 3. To identify and evaluate specific components or strategies within teacher training programs that effectively enhance emotional intelligence skills in teachers, with the goal of optimizing these strategies to improve overall teacher effectiveness. In recent years, the role of emotional intelligence in teacher effectiveness has attracted great attention because research shows that teachers with high levels of emotional intelligence can better create positive learning environment and promote student participation. The purpose of this study aims to explore the influence of emotional intelligence on the effectiveness of teachers by investigating the effectiveness of teacher training programs, including emotional intelligence development. According to a study by Brackett and Kachalak, 2019, teachers with high EI demonstrate improved classroom management skills, increased student motivation, and enhanced interpersonal relationships with students. In addition, a study conducted by Schutte, Malouf, and Thorsteinsson found that teacher training programs focusing on cultivating emotional ability can significantly improve teacher-student interactions and the overall classroom atmosphere. Therefore, the findings from these studies provide evidence to prove the importance of integrating EQ training in teacher preparation projects for improving teachers' efficiency and ultimately improving student performance. This study mainly adopts the method of quantitative research and collects data through questionnaire and interviews. The data sources is not less than 250 participants from all kinds of teacher training programs, including middle school teachers, vocational college teachers, skills training center teachers, normal students, etc. Finally, the collected research data are further refined to reveal the law more scientifically, grasp essence, and clarify relationships. The results of this thesis is expected to indicate the positive trend, hence the hypotheses are such as below. Teachers with higher levels of emotional intelligence will exhibit greater effectiveness in classroom management and student engagement compared to teachers with lower levels of emotional intelligence. Teacher training programs that incorporate specific interventions to develop emotional intelligence skills will lead to improved teacher effectiveness in terms of classroom climate, student-teacher relationships, and instructional practices. The level of emotional intelligence exhibited by teachers will be positively correlated with their overall job satisfaction and well-being, indicating that higher emotional intelligence contributes to greater teacher satisfaction and reduced stress levels. Teacher training programs that provide opportunities for reflective practice and self-awareness exercises focused on emotional intelligence will result in increased teacher self-efficacy and a sense of personal growth, which in turn will positively impact their effectiveness in a classroom. The study investigates the long-term effects of emotional intelligence training, explore its variations across subject areas and grade levels, and identify effective strategies within training programs that enhance emotional intelligence skills. In conclusion, The study intends to contribute to a comprehensive understanding of the role of emotional intelligence in enhancing teacher effectiveness, and inform the design and implementation of effective training interventions. This is my report. Thank you to all scholars for listening. I hope to continue discussing this topic in the future. I'm Georgie Bean from University of Lincoln College. Thank you again. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I'm finished. Thank you. Hello.
Okay, thank you very much. We listened your report, your presentation regarding this role of emotional intelligence in teachers' effectiveness. Can I ask you one question?
I can try.
Okay, so what are the different statistical methods you are going to discuss or you are going to study in this research? You mentioned that statistical method, but not really mentioned what are those methods you are going to handle. What are those methods, statistical methods?
The teacher training program and developing emotion intelligence skills can improve teachers' effectiveness. This program provides teachers with the tool and strength to recognize and their emotions as well as understand and respond to student emotion effectively. I'm sorry, I don't very well English. I'm sorry.
So there are different studies already done on emotional intelligence. What is the difference or why do you prefer this study?
Because I will I'm now I'm working in I will think in future I can in the school at work. So I now research this topic.
Okay, thank you very much. So you want to ask some question? Okay. So good. Your presentation was nice. I think we should give another candidate opportunity this to present. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, doctor. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Any other presenter?
Everyone finished. 3 more coming. So we have to wait for. Just give me a break.
Is there any other presenter? Is there any candidate who want to present?
We have 3 Sri Lankans. Can you send? We'll wait. Okay, just we wait for the participant to join. So we have 3 more participants and we are waiting altogether 6 more participants to join. So till then, please stay with us. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. She came. She told that she's having some issue in the laptop. She quit. She's not. These three and this one not here. So we just wait and three more joining. They are supposed to do physical. Due to the visa issues, they are doing virtual.
Very good.
Set on. Set. They cannot control. It's
Yes.
off. Is it turn off?
I would like the exit. No. To some extent we can use, but too much.
Extreme.
You too much sleep, there will be problem for your physical joint pain and other things. This need of sunlight, there is a lot of here, so naturally. That's what happened with us. We just sit in the office smoking some oxygen. Section here. I think one student will present physically.
I don't know.
Virtually on 3 students. Virtually. Yes, we will not evaluate. Creating choices, likes. Physical, we can access. Are they coming?
Yes. Я хочу цікавити речі.
Not coming.
I tried to call them today.
Finish.
Can you call listen, maybe they are here. Listening.
No, they already finished.
Yes, any other presenter is there? So thank you very much for all the presenter. You present very well.
Finish on time.
Now, this is closing session. Again, I want to thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Hope to see you in the next conference. So we like to invite you all to do your presentation physically for your next conference. So thank you. I hope you all had a very good session, very good interaction with other topic. So thank you and have a very good day. Thank you.
Reason assigned in front of all the